presented by Soundlibra.com. Explore more titles via the link in the description or at Soundlibra.com. Welcome to the Art of Rest. Stop grinding. Recover like a champion.
Today, we explore burnout and the promise of intentional rest. Just a quick heads up before we get started. While we're discussing wellness and mental health, this content isn't medical advice, so be sure to consult with a professional for your specific needs.
That's an important note. Now, let's get into it. Burnout is more than just feeling tired. It's a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by prolonged or excessive stress. It's chronic, not just a bad week.
So, it's like a slow drain, not a sudden collapse?
Exactly. It shows up as overwhelming exhaustion, cynicism or detachment, and a reduced sense of accomplishment. You might feel ineffective or jaded.
That sense of, what's the point? Or feeling jaded. What's the third way it shows up?
The reduced sense of accomplishment. You might feel your efforts aren't making a difference. This leads to self-doubt and feeling stuck. So, exhaustion, cynicism, and diminished effectiveness, those are the hallmarks of burnout.
It sounds truly debilitating. You mentioned prolonged or excessive stress. Is it just work stress?
Work stress is a huge contributor, especially with hustle culture. But stress also comes from financial pressures, relationships, health, or the constant demands of modern life. When these pile up without adequate recovery, burnout is almost inevitable.
We're expected to be on all the time, juggling so many different balls. If we're not actively recovering, those balls start to drop. So, if burnout is the problem, what's the solution we're exploring? The art of rest.
The art of rest is our counter strategy. It's about intentionally engaging in activities and mindsets that promote recovery and renewal. It's not about laziness or avoiding responsibility. True rest is an active, strategic process that allows us to recharge and perform at our best. It's about sustainability.
So, rest is a tool for better performance, not an escape from it. That's a crucial distinction.
Absolutely. We've been told pushing harder is the only way, but science shows consistent, high-level performance requires genuine recovery. Think of an athlete. They have recovery days. We need that same principle for our well-being.
That's a great analogy. You wouldn't expect a marathon runner to sprint every single day. Their training includes recovery.
Precisely. The promise of embracing the art of rest is profound. It's about unlocking your potential. When well-rested, you're more creative, make better decisions, improve relationships, and experience deeper joy and fulfillment. You move from surviving to thriving.
So, to recap, burnout is chronic exhaustion, cynicism, and reduced effectiveness from prolonged stress. The art of rest is our proactive approach, treating rest as a vital strategy for sustainable high performance and a more fulfilling life.
That's a perfect summary. We're shifting from relentless grinding to intelligent recovery. This series will equip you with knowledge and tools to reclaim your energy, passion, and effectiveness. We will explore different types of rest, the science behind them, and practical ways to integrate them into your busy life.
I'm already feeling more rested just talking about it. What can listeners expect in our next episode?
In our next episode, we'll dive into the different types of rest. We'll explore active versus passive rest and help you understand which type you might need more of in your recovery toolkit.
Excellent. So, join us next time as we explore active versus passive rest and begin to build your personal recovery toolkit. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back. Last time, we explored burnout and the necessity of rest. Now, let's tackle the two fundamental types of rest, active and passive.
Burnout can leave us feeling depleted, making it easy to think all rest is just collapsing on the couch. But understanding these two categories can unlock effective recovery. So, active versus passive rest. Alex, what does that mean?
Think of passive rest as ultimate downtime. It's when you're not doing much and your body and mind shut down to recharge. The goal is to reduce stimulation and allow your systems to recover. Sleep is the classic example of passive rest. While sleeping, your body is busy with repair and restoration.
So, like deep sleep or taking a nap when exhausted.
Exactly. Other forms of passive rest include meditation focused on deep relaxation, where your mind drifts. Lying down and doing nothing, perhaps with eyes closed, also falls here. The key is a significant reduction in exertion, allowing your body to heal without demands.
That's like switching off the engine to cool down and refuel. What about active rest, though? How can you be active and resting?
That's a great question. Active rest involves engaging in restorative activities that still require gentle engagement. The difference is these activities are enjoyable, low stress, and help recover without depleting energy. They can actually increase your energy over time.
So, it's not about pushing yourself, but about gentle, enjoyable movement or mental engagement that feels good.
Precisely. Consider a gentle walk in nature. You're moving, but it's not strenuous. You're breathing fresh air, observing, and your mind can wander relaxedly. Light yoga or stretching can also be forms of active rest, releasing tension and calming the mind without demanding high effort.
That's different from a workout, which requires more rest. I'm picturing a gentle stroll, maybe listening to calming music.
You got it. Or engaging in a hobby you find relaxing, like sketching, knitting, or playing an instrument leisurely. These are active rest. They allow your mind to focus on something pleasant, diverting from stressors, while engaging gentle physical movement or creative expression that replenishes your spirit.
So, passive rest is minimal stimulation and deep shutdown like sleep and quiet meditation. Active rest is gentle, enjoyable engagement that restores energy, like a nature walk or a relaxing hobby.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. Why is this distinction important? When burnout, we often default to passive rest, which is vital. But sometimes we need more than just doing nothing. We might need to gently reactivate our systems through enjoyable activities.
So, it's not one or the other, but recognizing when each is most beneficial.
Exactly. If you had a physically demanding day, deep sleep is your priority. But if you've been at a desk all day, your mind might be tired but your body restless. An active rest like a walk or light stretching could be more effective.
So it's about listening to your body and mind and choosing the right tool from your recovery toolkit.
That's the champion mindset. It's about being strategic. We aim for deliberate restoration, often blending both active and passive rest. You might have deep sleep nightly, but opt for a leisurely bike ride on a Saturday morning as active rest instead of just sleeping in.
It's intentional downtime. I'm already thinking about what active rest I enjoy, listening to podcasts, maybe some gentle gardening.
Those are fantastic examples. The key is that it feels restorative to you. Self-awareness is your compass for navigating your art of rest.
It's like building a personal recovery plan. We've given listeners the two main building blocks: passive rest for deep shutdown and active rest for gentle rejuvenation.
That's right. Understanding these two types of rest is the first step in designing a life that supports sustainable thriving. It's about moving from just existing to truly living, recharged and ready.
So, to recap for our listeners, passive rest is your deep recharge, like sleep and quiet meditation, reducing stimulation for recovery. Active rest involves gentle, enjoyable activities that replenish energy, such as mindful walks or relaxing hobbies. Both are crucial, and the best approach is a strategic blend tailored to your needs.
By recognizing the difference, you're already becoming a more informed champion of your well-being. Next episode, we'll be exploring the incredible science of sleep, your ultimate recovery engine. Welcome back. Last time, we examined active versus passive rest. Now let's focus on sleep.
Sleep. It's something we all do, but do we truly grasp how vital it is for recovery?
Many people cut back on sleep when life gets demanding, and that's a major misstep. Sleep isn't just about being still. It's a critical process for fixing our brains and our bodies. Think of it as your body's essential maintenance crew.
A maintenance crew. I like that analogy. So, what is actually happening during sleep that makes it so crucial for recovery?
Sleep allows our bodies to heal from the day's weariness and repair any cellular damage. It's absolutely vital for memory, emotional regulation, and physical healing. Without enough restful sleep, our ability to function, think clearly, and feel happy suffers significantly.
So, it's an active repair process, not just a period of inactivity. What are the different stages of sleep that contribute to this repair?
Sleep occurs in cycles, alternating between NREM, or non-rapid eye movement sleep, and REM, or rapid eye movement sleep. NREM sleep has several stages. The first is light sleep, followed by a deeper stage where your heart rate and body temperature decrease. The deepest stages of NREM sleep are where significant physical recovery takes place.
Physical recovery, like repairing muscles?
Precisely. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone. This hormone is incredibly important for repairing tissues, building muscle mass, and strengthening your bones. Your immune system also gets a significant boost during these deep sleep stages. When you don't get enough deep sleep, your body's ability to heal and maintain its health is hindered.
That's really interesting. And what about REM sleep? I always associate that with dreaming.
REM sleep is exceptionally important for your cognitive functions. Things like learning, consolidating memories, and processing emotions. During REM sleep, your brain is highly active, sorting through your experiences from the day, cementing memories, and helping you manage your emotions. You can think of it as your brain's filing system at work. A lack of sufficient REM sleep can negatively impact your focus, your impulse control, and your overall emotional balance.
So, we have deep sleep for physical restoration and REM sleep for mental and emotional restoration. It's a complete recovery package.
Exactly. These sleep cycles repeat themselves throughout the night, with each cycle lasting about 90 minutes. For most adults, getting between 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night is necessary to ensure you get enough deep and REM sleep. However, the quality of your sleep is just as important as the quantity.
How can we then improve the quality of our sleep? What are some practical suggestions for optimizing our sleep environment and establishing consistent routines?
Let's talk about something called sleep hygiene. Consistency is absolutely key here. Try to go to bed and wake up around the same time every day, and that includes your weekends. This consistency helps regulate your body's internal clock, which is known as your circadian rhythm.
Your circadian rhythm, that's your body's natural sleep-wake cycle, like an internal alarm clock?
Exactly. And you want to set that clock for its optimal performance. Your bedroom environment also plays a crucial role in sleep quality. It should be dark, quiet, and cool. Even small amounts of light can interfere with the production of melatonin, which is the hormone that signals to your body that it's time to sleep. Using blackout curtains or an eye mask can be very helpful. A cool room temperature, generally between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit, is typically ideal for most people.
Dark, quiet, and cool. Those sound like simple adjustments, but they can be very effective. What about our activities right before bed? I have to admit, I'm often guilty of scrolling through my phone late at night.
Screens. The blue light emitted from electronic devices like phones and tablets interferes with melatonin production. To combat this, aim to wind down for about an hour before you plan to sleep and put away your electronics during that time. Instead, engage in relaxing activities.
Like reading a physical book or taking a warm bath.
Those are perfect examples. Reading, listening to calm music, doing some gentle stretching, or taking a warm bath can all signal to your body that it's time to prepare for sleep. Also, be mindful of what you consume. Try to avoid caffeine and alcohol in the hours leading up to bedtime, and avoid eating a heavy meal right before you plan to sleep.
So, creating a peaceful transition into sleep is important. What about those common sleep disruptors like stress or anxiety that can keep us awake?
Those are certainly challenging. If stress is keeping you up, try journaling before bed to get any worries or to-do lists out of your mind. Mindfulness exercises and meditation can also be very effective in calming a racing mind. If you find yourself unable to fall asleep after about 20 minutes, it's often recommended to get out of bed. Go to another dimly lit room. Do something quiet and relaxing until you start to feel sleepy, and then return to bed.
That's a great tip, gently redirecting wakefulness. So, to sum up for our listeners, sleep is our ultimate recovery engine, essential for physical repair through deep sleep and for mental processing through REM sleep. To improve our sleep, we need consistent bedtimes and wake times, a dark, quiet, and cool bedroom environment, relaxing routines before bed away from screens, and effective stress management.
Exactly. And remember, improving your sleep is often about making small, consistent changes over time. Focus on implementing one or two suggestions at first and gradually build them into your habits. The benefits you'll experience are immense: a better mood, improved focus, and overall enhanced well-being. Optimizing your sleep is absolutely non-negotiable for building a life of sustainable thriving.
Non-negotiable. I'm definitely going to keep that in mind.
Excellent. Next episode, we'll explore nature's prescription for rest by reconnecting with the natural world. Welcome back. Last time we explored the science of sleep. Now, let's explore nature's prescription.
I'm so excited for this one, Alex. I've always felt a sense of calm when I'm surrounded by nature, but I didn't fully understand the why behind it. It really does feel like a powerful reset button.
It absolutely is, Lisa, and there's a growing body of scientific evidence to support this. We're talking about something called ecotherapy or nature therapy, which is essentially the use of natural environments to improve a person's psychological and physical well-being.
Ecotherapy, that makes perfect sense. So, it's not just about enjoying a pretty view, it's actively healing ourselves by interacting with nature?
Exactly. When we spend time in natural settings, a forest, a park by the ocean, even just a garden, our bodies and minds undergo significant positive changes. One of the most well-documented benefits is the reduction of stress hormones like cortisol. Imagine walking through a quiet forest, breathing in the fresh air. You'll often notice your heart rate slow down, your blood pressure decrease, and a general sense of tension melting away.
That's incredible. So, nature acts like a natural stress reliever, almost like a form of passive rest we discussed before, where our minds can wander and detach from our daily worries.
Precisely. It's a deeply restorative experience that doesn't require active effort. Think about it. When you're walking in nature, you're not usually problem solving or rushing. You're simply present, observing, and absorbing the environment. This shift in focus allows our brains to move away from the constant fight or flight mode that modern life often keeps us in.
And I imagine this has a direct impact on our mood, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Studies have shown that spending time in nature can significantly boost our mood and reduce feelings of depression and anxiety. The natural world is rich with elements that stimulate our senses in a pleasant way. The rustling of leaves, the chirping of birds, the earthy smell of soil. These sensory inputs can have a powerful effect on our neurochemistry, leading to the release of endorphins, those feel-good chemicals. It's like a natural mood enhancer without any of the side effects.
It's fascinating how our bodies are so intrinsically linked to the natural world. I've heard about something called forest bathing or Shinrin-yoku in Japan. Can you tell us more about that?
Shinrin-yoku is a perfect example. Lisa. It translates to forest bathing, and it's a practice that has been scientifically studied for decades. It's not about hiking or strenuous exercise. It's about immersing yourself in the forest atmosphere, mindfully engaging your senses. You're encouraged to slow down, breathe deeply, and simply be present in a natural environment. Researchers have found that this practice can lead to a reduction in stress hormones, improved immune function, and enhanced feelings of vitality. When you walk through a forest, you're not just taking in oxygen. You're inhaling phytoncides, which are antimicrobial organic compounds released by trees. These have been shown to have positive effects on our immune system.
Phytoncides, so practically speaking, when we breathe in that forest air, we're getting a little health boost? That's amazing. And I love the idea of forest bathing because it emphasizes a gentler, more mindful approach, fitting perfectly with the concept of rest.
Exactly. And what's encouraging is that you don't need to live next to a vast wilderness to reap these benefits. Even small doses of nature can make a significant difference. For those of us in urban environments, this presents a wonderful challenge and opportunity. It's about actively seeking out and creating moments of nature connection.
That's a relief to hear. For a lot of us, a remote forest retreat isn't an everyday option. So, what are some practical ways listeners can weave nature into their lives, even in a city?
Great question. First, simply start with what's accessible. This could be your local park. Make it a habit to visit it regularly, perhaps for your lunch break, a weekend stroll, or even just a few minutes of quiet reflection. Pay attention to the trees, the birds, the changing seasons. Even a small patch of greenery can make a difference. We've talked about passive rest, and nature often facilitates this beautifully because it encourages us to slow down and observe.
So, instead of scrolling through your phone during your break, you could find a bench in a park and just be.
Precisely. Another tip is to bring nature indoors. Houseplants are fantastic for improving air quality and creating a more calming atmosphere. Having a small herb garden on your windowsill can be incredibly rewarding and connect you with growing things, even in a limited space. Even looking at pictures of nature or listening to nature sounds can offer some restorative benefits, though direct experience is, of course, more potent.
I've also found that simply opening my window and letting in fresh air and natural light can be surprisingly uplifting.
Absolutely, Lisa. Maximizing natural light in your living and working spaces is key. And think about your commute. Can you incorporate a few blocks of walking through a tree-lined street? Can you choose a route that passes by a garden or a body of water? It's about retraining your awareness to notice and seek out these natural elements.
It sounds like it's about intentionality, making a conscious choice to seek out nature, no matter how small the dose, because we recognize its restorative power.
Exactly. And remember, this connects back to our earlier discussions about understanding your recovery toolkit. Nature is a powerful, often overlooked tool for rest and rejuvenation. It helps us disconnect from the digital world, reduces stress, improves our mood, and can even boost our physical health. It's a form of passive rest that allows our minds to quiet down and our bodies to recuperate.
So, the takeaway here is that nature isn't just a nice to have, it's a fundamental need for our well being. And we can all find ways to integrate it even in small, consistent doses.
That's the perfect summary, Lisa. Reconnecting with the natural world is a powerful prescription for a more rested, balanced life.
Thank you, Alex. This has been so insightful. I'm definitely inspired to get outside more.
Wonderful. Next episode, the power of social connection, fueling your soul. Welcome back to The Art of Rest. Last time, we explored nature's incredible ability to heal and restore us. Today, we're diving into something equally powerful, social connection.
Ah, Yes, Alex. We've talked about active versus passive rest, sleep, and nature. Now we're getting to the heart of how relationships can be a form of powerful restoration. It's easy to think of rest as something solitary, but genuine connection can be incredibly energizing.
Exactly, Lisa. We're not just talking about being around people. We're talking about meaningful social connection. Think about it. When you're truly with someone you connect with, someone who understands you, doesn't it feel different than just being in a crowd? It's a different kind of energy altogether.
Absolutely. It's that feeling of being seen, of being understood. It's like a balm for the soul, especially when we've been drained by life's demands. So, Alex, how does this powerful social connection actually work to restore us?
Great question. At its core, strong social connections act as a buffer against stress. When you feel supported, you're less likely to be overwhelmed by life's challenges. Think of your close friends or family as a safety net. Knowing they're there, that you can talk to them, reduces the burden of stress on your system. This is often referred to as social support.
A safety net. I like that analogy. So, it's not just about feeling good in the moment, but about building resilience for the long haul.
Precisely. And it goes even deeper. Positive social interactions, especially those with a high degree of emotional closeness, can actually lower your levels of stress hormones like cortisol. This leads to a more relaxed state, which is crucial for recovery. Furthermore, sharing experiences, even difficult ones, with someone you trust can help you process emotions more effectively. It's like airing out a stuffy room. You let in fresh air and clear the atmosphere.
That makes so much sense. When we're stressed, our bodies are in a heightened state. Having someone to talk to share that burden with, can signal to our nervous system that we're safe and that we don't have to be on high alert anymore.
You've got it. And this isn't just about venting. It's also about the positive emotions that flow from connection. Laughter, shared joy, a sense of belonging. These all trigger the release of feel-good neurotransmitters like oxytocin and dopamine. These chemicals promote feelings of well-being, trust, and happiness. They're like a natural energizer for your brain and body.
So, while we might think of rest as quiet solitude, genuine connection is actually an active form of restoration. It's not passive, it's engaging and deeply nourishing.
Exactly. And this is where we need to distinguish between superficial interactions and deep connection. Scrolling through social media, for instance, can give us a sense of connection, but it often lacks the depth and authenticity that truly restores us. It can sometimes even leave us feeling more drained.
That's a really important distinction. Those fleeting likes or brief comments don't offer the same kind of soulful replenishment as a heart to heart conversation with a close friend or a shared activity with a loved one.
Right? Deep connection involves vulnerability, mutual understanding, and often shared time and experiences. It's about quality over quantity. Think about the people in your life who truly make you feel recharged. They're the ones you can be your authentic self with, the ones who celebrate your successes and support you through your struggles.
It sounds like we need to be intentional about cultivating these deep connections. It doesn't just happen by accident, especially as we get busier.
That's precisely the next step. Cultivating and nurturing these relationships is key. It requires effort, but the return on investment for your well-being is immense. So what does that look like in practice? Firstly, it means prioritizing time for the people who matter. This might mean scheduling regular calls, dedicating specific evenings for catch-ups, or even planning weekend getaways.
So, treating those relationships like any other important appointment in our lives.
Absolutely. Secondly, it's about being present when you are with them. Put away the distractions, listen actively, and engage fully in the conversation or activity. This shows respect and makes the other person feel valued. Remember our earlier discussions on sensory awareness? This is a perfect application of being present.
Being truly present. That means putting the phone away and making eye contact, listening to understand, not just to respond.
Exactly. And thirdly, it involves being proactive in showing your appreciation. A simple thank you, a thoughtful gesture, or expressing your gratitude directly can strengthen bonds significantly. Don't underestimate the power of letting people know you value them.
It's about showing up for them, too, right? Being there when they need support. It's a reciprocal relationship.
That's the essence of it. Mutual support is the foundation of strong, restorative relationships. When we offer our time, our empathy, and our support to others, it not only benefits them, but also strengthens our own sense of purpose and connection. It creates a virtuous cycle of care and well-being.
So, to recap for our listeners, meaningful social connection is a powerful form of active restoration. It acts as a stress buffer, lowers stress hormones, and releases feel-good chemicals. It's crucial to differentiate this deep, authentic connection from superficial online interactions. To cultivate it, we need to prioritize time, be present, express appreciation, and offer mutual support.
You've summarized it perfectly, Lisa. These aren't just pleasant diversions. They are essential components of a rest-filled, thriving life. Nurturing our relationships is as vital to our well-being as getting enough sleep or spending time in nature. It's about filling our emotional and psychological tanks.
It truly is. It's a reminder that we are social beings, and our need for connection is as fundamental as any other need.
Indeed. And by being intentional about fostering these deep connections, we're investing not just in our happiness, but in our resilience and our overall capacity to thrive. It's a potent, often overlooked element of becoming a recovery champion. Next episode, creativity as catharsis, unleashing your inner artist. Welcome back. Last time we explored nature's restorative power. Today, we're diving into creativity.
Creativity feels like work, Alex. How does it fit into rest?
We often think of creative struggle, but there's a different kind, playful exploration. This leads to a state of deep engagement where time seems to vanish.
That's that feeling when time disappears, like with puzzles or gardening.
Exactly. That's active rest. Your analytical brain takes a break, and your imaginative brain can simply play. This process is incredibly cathartic, helping to release pin-up emotions.
So, expressing myself nonverbally can unburden me.
Absolutely. Creativity is a broad term. It can be cooking a new recipe, journaling your thoughts, or playing a musical instrument. The key is to approach it with experimentation and without the pressure of achieving a perfect outcome.
What's a good starting point for creative rest?
Start small and make it playful. Choose something that sparks your curiosity. This could be as simple as doodling, humming a tune, or trying a basic craft. Lower the stakes considerably and allow yourself to make mistakes.
That definitely lessens the intimidation factor. How does this combat burnout?
Burnout is often characterized by a feeling of depletion and being stuck. Creativity injects novelty and playfulness back into your life. It offers a sense of accomplishment and can even unlock solutions to problems by giving your analytical mind a much-needed break.
So, active rest, like engaging in creative pursuits, acts as a mental reset button that's also enjoyable. How does it differ from passive rest?
Passive rest, like sleep, is about reducing stimulation. Active rest, on the other hand, like engaging in creative activities, involves engaging your mind in enjoyable pursuits that don't drain your energy. It shifts your focus and utilizes different neural pathways than your everyday tasks.
So, active rest, like creative pursuits, offers a different kind of mental engagement that recharges you.
Precisely. And it can lead to profound self-discovery. You might uncover hidden talents or interests, enriching your overall sense of well-being and reminding you that you are much more than just your responsibilities.
So, creative pursuits, when approached with playfulness and a focus on the process, are a form of active rest. They offer cathartic release, prevent burnout by introducing novelty, and provide a sense of accomplishment.
It's about tapping into our innate drive to create simply for joy and restoration. It's about unleashing your inner artist.
A fantastic perspective. So, next time we feel overwhelmed, we can try sketching or writing.
Absolutely. In our next episode, we'll explore sensory awareness and how grounding ourselves in the present moment can bring peace. Next episode, sensory awareness, reclaiming your present moment. Welcome back. Last time, we explored how unleashing your inner artist through creativity can be a powerful form of catharsis. Today, we're diving into something fundamental to our well-being, yet often overlooked: sensory awareness. This is about reclaiming your present moment.
Sensory awareness. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But Alex, in our busy lives, it feels like our senses are on autopilot, or worse, completely overloaded. We're constantly bombarded with information, and it's easy to lose touch with what's right in front of us, or even what's happening within us.
Exactly, Lisa. Think about it. How often are you truly tasting your food, or really feeling the sun on your skin, or consciously listening to the sounds around you without your mind racing ahead to the next task? Sensory awareness is the practice of paying deliberate attention to our senses. It's a form of active rest because it shifts our focus away from the anxieties of the past or the worries of the future, anchoring us firmly in the here and now.
So, it's like a mental reset button. By tuning into our senses, we can quiet that internal chatter that often leads to stress and burnout.
Precisely. When we engage our senses fully, we interrupt the cycle of rumination. Instead of dwelling on what's bothering us, we're actively experiencing the present moment. This isn't about ignoring problems, but about creating space and clarity so we can address them with a calmer, more focused mind. This practice is a powerful antidote to mental fog and stress.
I can see how that would be incredibly helpful. So, how do we actually do this? Where do we start?
Let's start with our sense of sight. This is often our dominant sense, but we rarely use it mindfully. I want to invite our listeners right now to just take a moment. Look around you. Don't just glance, really see. Notice the colors. Are they vibrant or muted? Look at the shapes. Are they sharp and defined or soft and curved? Observe the textures, even if you can't touch them. Just for a few seconds, be a detective of what your eyes are taking in.
That's a great starting point. I'm looking around my room as we speak, and I'm noticing the subtle variations in the wood grain of my desk, the way the light is hitting a particular object, casting a small shadow. It's surprisingly calming just to pause and observe.
It really is. Now, let's move to our sense of hearing. This can be particularly effective in noisy environments. Can you identify three distinct sounds right now? Perhaps the hum of a computer, the distant sound of traffic, or even your own breath. Try to distinguish each sound, noting its pitch, its rhythm, its volume.
Okay, I hear the gentle whir of the air conditioning unit, the muffled sound of a car passing by outside, and I can actually hear my own heartbeat if I focus for a moment. It's amazing how much is there when we actually listen.
And this is the beauty of sensory awareness. It's not about finding a perfectly quiet place. It's about engaging with the sensory input that's already present. It teaches us that we can find calm amidst the chaos.
So, to recap what we've discussed so far, sensory awareness is about actively and intentionally paying attention to what our senses are experiencing. It helps us to ground ourselves in the present moment, and by doing so, it offers active rest and can reduce stress and mental rumination.
Exactly. And we've touched on sight and hearing. Let's bring in touch. Our sense of touch is incredibly powerful for grounding us. When you're sitting, Can you feel the chair beneath you? Notice the pressure, the texture of the fabric or the material. If you're holding something like a mug of tea, feel its warmth, its weight, its shape in your hands. Even the feeling of your feet on the floor can be a profound anchor.
I'm feeling the fabric of my shirt on my arms right now, and the solid ground beneath my feet. It's like a physical confirmation that I am here. It's a simple but effective grounding technique.
It truly is. And we can't forget taste and smell, though these are often more fleeting. When you next eat or drink something, try to really savor it. Notice the different flavors, the subtle notes, the temperature. Even the smell of fresh coffee or rain on pavement or a fresh breeze can instantly transport us and bring us back to awareness.
It's about transforming everyday experiences into moments of mindful presence. So, when we practice sensory awareness, we're not just passively resting, we're actively engaging with our bodies and our environment in a way that promotes mental clarity and reduces that feeling of being overwhelmed.
Yes, it's an exercise for the mind, much like physical exercise is for the body. It trains our attention. In our series on rest, we've talked about sleep, nature, social connection, and creativity. Sensory awareness is another vital tool in your recovery toolkit. It complements these other practices by providing an immediate way to de-stress and reconnect with yourself and the world around you, no matter where you are.
So, practically speaking, how can listeners integrate this into their day? Beyond these brief exercises we've done.
A great way is to pick one sense each day to focus on. For example, Monday could be Mindful Listening Day, actively noticing sounds throughout your commute or at work. Tuesday could be Tasting Tuesday, where you're really present with your meals. Or dedicate just 2 minutes, twice a day, to a quick sensory check-in. What you see, hear, and feel right now.
Breaking it down like that makes it feel much more manageable. So, we've learned that sensory awareness is about intentionally engaging our senses, sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell, to anchor ourselves in the present moment. This practice serves as a form of active rest, helping to quiet mental chatter, reduce rumination, and foster clarity. By incorporating brief, daily sensory check-ins, we can all become more present and resilient.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. This ability to anchor ourselves in the present moment using our senses is a cornerstone for cultivating true rest and preventing burnout. It's about finding stillness within the natural flow of life. Next episode, cultivating mental clarity, quieting the noise. Welcome back to the Art of Rest. Last time, we explored sensory awareness to be present. Today, we're cultivating mental clarity.
Mental clarity. It sounds like a breath of fresh air in our noisy world. My mind often feels like a browser with too many tabs open.
That's a great analogy. Our minds can get cluttered with thoughts, worries, and notifications. This mental noise drains us and makes it hard to focus. Cultivating mental clarity means actively quieting that noise, creating a peaceful and focused internal environment.
So, it's about creating clear space in our heads, not just avoiding stress.
Exactly. It's active restoration. Like decluttering your physical space, you sort and organize. Mental clarity involves similar processes for our thoughts. Journaling is a powerful tool for this.
Journaling. I try it, but sometimes it's just random thoughts. How does that clear the mind?
Journaling externalizes your thoughts. Writing them down takes them out of your head and onto paper. This helps you identify thought patterns, process emotions, and solve problems. It lets your subconscious speak.
So, by writing it down, I can see it and deal with it?
Precisely. You could do a brain dump or use prompts like, what am I grateful for? Or what's causing me stress? Consistency is key. Even 5 to 10 minutes a day can significantly reduce mental clutter. It's a dedicated space to process your internal world.
That makes sense. Moving thoughts from swirling in my head to being laid out so I can look at them. What else can we do?
Meditation is another cornerstone of mental clarity. It doesn't have to be hours of sitting. At its core, meditation trains your attention and awareness by observing thoughts without judgment.
Observing without judgment. That's the hard part. My thoughts tend to snowball.
That's normal. The goal isn't to stop thinking, which is impossible. It's to notice when your mind wanders and gently bring your attention back, usually to your breath. Think of thoughts like clouds drifting by. You see them, acknowledge them, and let them pass.
So, I'm a calm observer of my own mind?
Exactly. Start small. Even 1 or 2 minutes focusing on your breath trains your mind to be less reactive and more focused. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to filter distractions and achieve calm. It builds mental muscle.
Building that muscle seems key. And I imagine with our digital lives, setting boundaries with technology is crucial for mental clarity.
Absolutely critical. Devices constantly demand our attention with information and notifications. This continuous stimulation makes it hard for our minds to rest and find clarity. We need to be intentional about technology use.
What does that look like in practice?
Create tech-free zones or tech-free times. For example, make the bedroom a no-phone zone, or the first hour of your day and the last hour before bed screen-free. Reclaim yourself from pings and notifications.
That sounds daunting, but also liberating. So, instead of checking my phone first thing, I could journal or meditate.
That's a perfect example. You're replacing mental noise with an activity that cultivates clarity. Also, be mindful of social media. Ask yourself, why am I opening this app? What do I hope to get? If it's not clear or beneficial, maybe it's not the right time.
That's a good question to ask myself. It's easy to just reach for the phone. So, to recap, journaling to externalize thoughts, meditation to train attention, and setting tech boundaries to reduce noise. These are active ways to create mental space.
You've got it. These aren't passive rest. They're active practices that build resilience and focus. By managing our internal and external environments, we reduce mental clutter and achieve greater clarity. This clarity is essential for better decisions, creativity, and deeper, sustainable rest.
It feels like we're building a toolkit for reclaiming our minds. It's powerful to know we have these strategies to quiet the noise and find inner peace.
Indeed, the more we practice these techniques, the more natural they become, and the more accessible mental clarity will be. It's a journey, and every step towards this quiet, focused state is a victory.
After sensory awareness and mental clarity, I feel a stronger sense of how to actively recharge.
Absolutely. Next time, we'll explore spiritual renewal, finding meaning and purpose, which builds on this foundation of a clearer, more present mind. Next episode, spiritual renewal, finding meaning and purpose. Welcome back to the Art of Rest. Last time, we focused on cultivating mental clarity and quieting the internal noise. Today, we're diving into something profound, spiritual renewal.
Spiritual renewal. That sounds big. I think some people might hear spiritual and immediately think of organized religion, but you framed it more broadly, Alex?
Absolutely, Lisa. For many, spirituality is deeply intertwined with religion, and that's wonderful. But for others, it means something different. It's about finding a sense of connection to something larger than yourself. This could be through nature, through art, through community, or even through a strong set of personal values that guide your life. It's about finding meaning and purpose that resonates deep within.
So it's not necessarily about dogma or specific rituals, but more about that feeling of belonging to something bigger and understanding your place in it all.
Exactly. And this sense of connection is a powerful pathway to deep rest. When we feel aligned with our values and understand our purpose, the constant, frantic striving that leads to burnout often subsides. Think about it. When you're pursuing something that feels truly meaningful to you, doesn't that bring a different kind of energy? A sense of calm, even amidst activity?
Yes, I can see that. It's like the energy is coming from a wellspring of intrinsic motivation rather than being drained by external pressures. So, how does this connect to rest?
When we engage in activities that foster spiritual renewal, we're essentially nurturing our core self. This isn't just about physical or mental downtime. It's about soul rest. It's about tending to the part of you that seeks meaning and connection. This can manifest in so many ways. For some, it's through prayer or meditation, connecting with a divine presence. For others, it's a long hike in the mountains, feeling utterly humbled and connected to the vastness of the natural world.
I love the idea of nature as a spiritual experience. Just being surrounded by trees or looking up at a sky full of stars can make my own worries feel so small and manageable. It's like a reset button for my perspective.
Precisely. That's a beautiful example of spiritual renewal in action. It's about stepping outside of your immediate concerns and feeling that sense of awe and belonging. Another avenue is through creativity. When you're lost in an artistic pursuit, whether it's painting, writing, or playing music, you can enter a state of flow. In that flow, your busy mind quiets down. You're not worrying about the past or the future. You're simply present, engaged in creating something. That experience itself is deeply restorative.
That makes so much sense. I've definitely felt that flow state when I'm gardening. The world just fades away, and it's just me, the soil, and the plants. It's incredibly peaceful.
And that peace is a form of rest, isn't it? It's a rest for the part of you that's constantly scanning for problems or to-do lists. Spiritual renewal, in this broad sense, is about proactively seeking out experiences that fill your well rather than just waiting for it to run dry. It's about engaging with practices that remind you of what truly matters.
So, to recap what we've discussed about spiritual renewal as a form of rest, it's about finding a connection to something larger than yourself, which can come from religion, nature, creativity, or core values. And these activities help us find meaning and purpose, which in turn leads to a deep, restorative peace.
Exactly, Lisa. And it's crucial to understand that this isn't a one-size-fits-all prescription. What feels spiritually renewing for one person might not for another. It's a personal journey of discovery. It's about asking yourself, what activities or experiences leave me feeling more connected, more at peace, and more aligned with my deepest sense of self? What brings you a sense of wonder or gratitude or profound calm?
And when we find those things, they become powerful tools in our recovery toolkit, right? They're not just hobbies, they are essential practices for well being.
Absolutely. Think of it as tending to your inner landscape. Just as you might tend to a garden, you need to tend to your spirit. This might involve dedicating time for quiet reflection, engaging in acts of kindness, or participating in community activities that resonate with your values. It's about cultivating a sense of inner richness.
So, for listeners who might be feeling disconnected or a bit lost, what's a good first step to explore spiritual renewal?
Start small and be curious. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Perhaps commit to spending just 10 minutes each day in nature, really observing your surroundings. Or try a guided meditation focused on gratitude. Experiment with different activities and pay attention to how they make you feel. Does it quiet your mind? Does it bring a smile to your face? Does it make you feel connected? The answers to those questions will guide you.
It's like an exploration, then, not a performance.
Precisely. And when you find those practices that resonate, integrate them consciously into your life. Make them a non-negotiable part of your rest strategy. Remember when we discussed the importance of creating buffer zones in your day? Spiritual renewal practices can be those essential buffer zones, offering a deep sense of peace and grounding.
This idea of spiritual renewal is so empowering because it's so personal. It allows everyone to define and pursue what truly nourishes their soul. We've covered so many aspects of rest, from understanding its basics to sleep, nature, connection, creativity, mindfulness, mental clarity, and now spiritual renewal. It's all about building a comprehensive approach to recovery.
It is. And as we move towards the end of our series, we'll start looking at how to weave all these elements together into a sustainable life rhythm. But for today, the key takeaway is that spiritual renewal is a vital, often overlooked component of deep rest. It's about finding your meaning, your purpose, and your connection to something greater. Find what fills your soul, and you'll find a profound new way to rest.
That's a beautiful note to end on. Next episode, we'll be exploring the rest champion mindset and how to integrate all these practices into your daily life.
Welcome back. Last time we explored spiritual renewal, finding meaning and purpose to truly recharge.
And today, Alex, we're bringing it all together to introduce a powerful concept, becoming a rest champion.
Exactly, Lisa. We've journeyed through so many vital aspects of rest, active and passive recovery, the necessity of sleep, how nature rejuvenates us, the power of connection, the catharsis of creativity, the grounding of sensory awareness, the clarity of a quiet mind, and the fulfillment of spiritual practice. Now it's time to synthesize these lessons.
So, it's about living these principles, not just knowing them. It's making rest a priority and a fundamental part of an integrated lifestyle.
Precisely. The rest champion mindset is about shifting perspective. Instead of seeing rest as a reward for hard work, you see it as an essential component of peak performance and well-being. Think of an athlete who understands recovery is as crucial as training.
That's a great analogy. An athlete doesn't skip rest days. They know it's when their muscles repair and grow stronger. We need that same logic for our mental and emotional energy.
Absolutely. The rest champion mindset starts with a fundamental belief. Rest is not selfish, it's strategic. It's an investment in your capacity to give, create, and live fully. When you're rested, you're more resilient, creative, and effective.
That's a powerful reframe. Many of us feel guilty taking time for ourselves, conditioned to believe constant busyness equals productivity.
And that's the conditioning we need to overcome. The rest champion mindset means actively challenging that grind culture mentality. It's about making conscious choices that support your recovery, even when it feels counterintuitive.
We've learned about so many types of rest. How do we actually start integrating them? It can feel overwhelming to try everything.
That's where strategy comes in. A rest champion doesn't try to implement a dozen new habits overnight. They start small, focusing on consistency. Remember progressive building? It applies here. Pick one or two areas that resonate and start there.
Let's say I'm particularly drained. I might focus on more passive rest, like sitting and doing nothing for 10 minutes each day, or ensuring good sleep without screens beforehand.
That's an excellent start. Once that feels natural, add another. Perhaps schedule a short walk in nature weekly, or make a conscious effort to reach out to a friend when feeling isolated. The key is intentionality. You're creating the conditions for rest.
And it's also about recognizing the signs that you need rest, rather than waiting until you're completely depleted.
Precisely. A rest champion is attuned to their body and mind. They notice early warning signs of fatigue, stress, or depletion, irritability, difficulty concentrating, or lack of motivation. Instead of pushing through, they respond with a pre-planned recovery strategy. It's like having a personal recovery toolkit ready.
So, the rest champion mindset is about proactive self care, recognizing rest as a vital, ongoing practice and building consistent habits around it, rather than viewing it as a rare indulgence or last resort.
You've captured it perfectly, Lisa. It's about shifting from a reactive state, waiting for burnout, to a proactive one, where you actively manage your energy and well being. This mindset allows you to not only prevent burnout, but to thrive. You champion your own rest, becoming better equipped for life's challenges and opportunities.
It's like becoming your own advocate for well being. And by championing our own rest, we set an example for others, showing that prioritizing recovery is beneficial.
That's a wonderful point. The ripple effect can be immense. Remember, this is a journey. There will be times when life tests your ability to prioritize rest. The rest champion doesn't strive for perfection. They strive for progress and resilience.
So, to recap, the rest champion mindset is about believing in the strategic value of rest, challenging the busyness myth, starting small with consistent habits, recognizing early signs of depletion, and viewing rest as an ongoing, intentional practice. It's about integrating all the tools we've discussed into a sustainable lifestyle.
Exactly. You're not just surviving, you're building a life where you can genuinely thrive, fueled by consistent, intentional rest. This mindset shift is foundational for what comes next.
This is so empowering, Alex. I feel like we've moved from understanding what rest is to understanding how to truly live it.
And that's the goal. In our next episode, we'll explore practical application, focusing on designing your personal rest strategy. We'll explore how to tailor these concepts to your unique life.
Fantastic. For listeners, start thinking about one small step you can take this week to be a rest champion in your own life.
Next episode, practical application, designing your personal rest strategy. Welcome back. Today, we move from theory to practice in designing your personal rest strategy.
That's right, Alex. We've covered the why and the how of different rest types. Now, for many, the biggest question is, how do I actually weave this into my real life? It's a huge leap from knowing rest is good to actually making it happen.
Exactly, Lisa. It's like choosing music for a road trip. You don't just hit shuffle. You pick songs that fit the journey, your mood, and your personal taste. Your rest strategy needs to be custom made for you. So, let's build a framework for creating that personalized plan.
A framework sounds very helpful. Where do we start?
We begin with genuine self-assessment. It's all about understanding your individual energy blueprint. What specific activities consistently deplete you? Is it constant mental effort, physical demands, emotional intensity? And just as importantly, what activities truly refuel you, leaving you feeling energized rather than drained?
So it's like taking inventory of where our energy goes and what gives it back. I know, for example, that after intense periods of problem solving at work, I feel completely wiped. But I feel incredibly recharged after some quiet time in nature or a meaningful chat with a friend.
That's a perfect illustration, Lisa. Identifying those precise drains and replenishers is critical. You might find it helpful to keep a brief journal for a week, noting your energy levels throughout the day and what you were doing. This gives you clear, observable data. We're moving beyond guesswork.
That makes total sense. Self-assessment helps us map out our unique energy profile. What's the next step in this process?
With a clearer understanding of what you need, we can start identifying your preferred rest modalities. Remember our discussions on active versus passive rest? Now it's time to match those concepts with your personal preferences. For instance, if social interaction is a major energy drain, your passive rest might look like quiet reading or meditation, rather than seeking out a crowded cafe. If physical exertion tires you out, your active rest might be a gentle walk instead of a strenuous workout.
I see. So it's about choosing the right kind of rest for the situation and for you. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. I used to think resting just meant sleeping, but we've learned it's much broader than that.
Precisely. And that leads us to the third essential step, scheduling. This is where we translate intention into action. How do we realistically fit these chosen rest activities into our busy lives? We have to be deliberate. The key here is to start small.
Start small is such an important reminder. My initial impulse is always to try to overhaul my entire life, which can quickly feel overwhelming and counterproductive.
Exactly. An overhaul can ironically lead to more burnout. Instead, focus on carving out small pockets of time. This could be as simple as 15 minutes of deep breathing in the morning, taking a 30-minute walk during your lunch break, or dedicating just an hour on a weekend for a creative hobby you enjoy. It's about treating these scheduled rest times as non-negotiable appointments.
So, we should view these rest periods with the same seriousness as a doctor's appointment or a crucial work meeting, right? And how do we practically implement this? Just put it in a calendar?
A calendar is a fantastic tool for this. You can also set reminders on your phone, or even try pairing a restorative activity with a habit you already have. For example, meditating for 5 minutes immediately after you brush your teeth. This is a technique called habit stacking, where you build a new habit onto an existing automatic one.
Habit stacking. I really like that idea. It feels less like adding a burden and more like seamless integration. So, let's recap this first stage. We begin with self-assessment to pinpoint our unique energy drains and replenishers. Then, we identify our preferred rest modalities, matching them to those needs. Finally, we intentionally schedule these rest activities, starting small and utilizing tools like calendars or habit stacking.
That's a wonderful summary, Lisa. Now, it's vital to understand that designing your rest strategy isn't a one-time task. It's an ongoing, iterative process. Life evolves, our needs shift, and our capacities change over time.
You mean it's not a rigid plan, but something we should regularly review and adapt?
Absolutely. This brings us to the fourth step, experimentation and adjustment. Be open to trying different rest activities and paying close attention to how they impact you. Perhaps you scheduled an hour of quiet reading, but found your mind racing. This might indicate that reading isn't the most effective passive rest for you at that particular moment. Or perhaps the environment needs an adjustment.
So, if a chosen rest activity doesn't feel restorative, it's not a setback, but a valuable piece of information for learning and refinement. We can simply adjust the approach.
Precisely. It's all about attuning yourself to your body and mind. The aim isn't absolute perfection. It's about continuous progress and discovering what genuinely supports your overall well-being. You'll likely find that some days call for deeper, more intensive restorative rest, while other days might benefit from lighter, more energizing activities. Your strategy needs to be adaptable.
That flexibility is so encouraging. It really takes the pressure off trying to get it perfect from the start. What else is important as we put this strategy into action?
One of the most significant obstacles we encounter, as we've touched upon in previous discussions, is the omnipresent grind culture. We often feel a sense of guilt around resting, or we hold internal beliefs that we must always be productive. Therefore, the fifth step involves cultivating a supportive mindset and environment.
That internal critic can be quite powerful, can it? What are some effective ways to manage that inner voice?
Firstly, actively challenge those negative thoughts about rest. Remind yourself of the scientific evidence we've explored, that rest actually enhances productivity, creativity, and overall health. Secondly, if it's appropriate, communicate your rest needs to your loved ones or colleagues. Sometimes, simply informing others that you are prioritizing rest can lead to unexpected support.
This communication aspect is crucial. If we're attempting to implement a rest strategy, but those around us are constantly pushing for continuous hustle, it becomes an incredibly difficult undertaking.
It truly does. And finally, make sure to celebrate your successes. When you successfully integrate a rest activity into your routine, when you notice a positive shift in your energy levels or mood, acknowledge it. This positive reinforcement helps to solidify new habits and reinforces the inherent value of your rest strategy. We are essentially building a new habit, and like any habit formation, it requires time and conscious effort.
So, to summarize the entire framework, we begin with self-assessment to understand our unique needs. Then, we select our preferred rest modalities based on those needs. Next, we intentionally schedule these activities, remembering to start small and use supportive tools like calendars or habit stacking. Crucially, we embrace experimentation and adjustment, recognizing that our strategy will naturally evolve.
And a very important part of this is cultivating a supportive mindset and environment, actively challenging negative perceptions of rest and communicating our needs. And never forget to celebrate those small but significant wins along the way.
This feels like such a practical and empowering roadmap. It breaks down what could seem like an abstract concept into clear, actionable steps. I feel much better prepared to actually start designing my personal rest strategy now.
That's precisely the goal. Remember, this is your unique journey. Experiment, pay close attention to your body signals, and always be kind to yourself. You're the champion of your own rest.
Wonderful. Alex, what can our listeners look forward to in our next episode?
Next time, we'll tackle one of the most significant barriers to rest, the overwhelming grind culture. We'll explore practical ways to tame this pressure and dismantle the constant demand for productivity.
That sounds like essential listening for anyone feeling that squeeze. We'll see you all then. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back. Last time, we designed your personal rest strategy. Now, let's tackle the pervasive grind culture.
That's right, Alex. It feels like everywhere there's pressure to be constantly productive, to always be on. This episode tackles those obstacles head on. How do we push back against the idea that only constant work equals success?
It's a deeply ingrained societal narrative. We often equate busyness with importance. If we're not actively doing something, we might feel like we're falling behind or not good enough. This internal voice, fueled by external expectations, is a huge barrier to genuinely resting.
Exactly. I know for myself, even when I know I should rest, there's a nagging guilt. It feels like I'm being lazy or unproductive. How do we even begin to challenge that feeling?
The first step is awareness. We need to recognize when we're falling into those grind culture patterns. Are you saying yes to everything, even when you're exhausted? Are you comparing your productivity to others? Simply noticing these patterns is powerful. We need to identify our personal grind triggers.
So, it's about introspection. But what can we do once we recognize it? It feels overwhelming to go against the grain.
This is where setting boundaries becomes your superpower. Boundaries aren't about being difficult. They're about protecting your well-being. Think of them as essential guardrails for your life. This means learning to say no without guilt. When a request comes and that you don't have the capacity for, it's okay to decline. You can say, "Thank you for thinking of me, but I'm unable to take this on right now."
That, without guilt, part is the hardest. How do we train ourselves to feel okay with saying no?
It takes practice and often reframing our definition of success. Society often defines success by output and external validation. We need to redefine it for ourselves. Is success truly achieved by burning out, or is it about sustained well-being, creativity, and meaningful contribution over the long term? True success often includes the ability to rest and recharge, making our contributions more impactful when we are working.
That's a brilliant reframing, Alex. Success isn't just about the hustle, it's about the sustainable output that comes from a well-rested mind and body. So, we're identifying triggers, setting boundaries, and reframing success. What else can we do to combat this pervasive culture?
We need to start celebrating rest. Actively share your rest practices, just as you might share an accomplishment at work. When you take a walk in nature, read a book for pleasure, or enjoy a quiet evening, let that be a point of pride. Talk about the benefits you feel. This can subtly shift the conversation around you and within your own mind.
That feels radical. In a world that praises the late-night email sender, advocating for rest as a positive choice can feel like a rebellion.
It can be, but it's a necessary rebellion for our health and happiness. Another strategy is to create no-grind zones in your life. This could be a specific time of day, like the hour before bed, or a designated day of the week, like your Sunday afternoons, where you intentionally disconnect from work and productivity demands.
So, actively scheduling downtime and protecting it fiercely. What about when others don't respect those boundaries?
This is where clear communication is key. If your boundaries are being crossed, you might need to have a direct conversation. For example, if colleagues expect immediate responses outside of work hours, you can communicate your working hours and when you'll be available. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but establishing these expectations is crucial for long-term peace. Remember, your rest is not a luxury. It's a necessity for optimal performance and well-being.
It sounds like we're building a personal defense system against the pressures of grind culture. Identifying the pressure, setting clear boundaries, redefining what success means, celebrating rest, and communicating our needs.
Precisely. And perhaps the most important internal shift is to start giving yourself permission. Permission to not always be busy, permission to take breaks, permission to say no, and permission to embrace rest as a vital part of a fulfilling life. This is about reclaiming your time and energy, not from an external enemy, but from the internal narrative that keeps you chained to the grind.
It's a continuous practice, I imagine. Taming grind culture isn't a one-time fix.
Absolutely. It requires ongoing vigilance and self-compassion. But by consciously implementing these strategies, we can begin to dismantle the harmful aspects of grind culture and build a life that prioritizes genuine well-being alongside purposeful work. We're shifting from a model of being busy to a model of being effective and balanced.
So, to recap for our listeners, we've talked about recognizing the signs of grind culture, the power of setting firm boundaries, and the importance of redefining success beyond just productivity. We also discussed actively celebrating rest, creating no grind zones, and communicating our needs clearly. All of this comes down to giving ourselves permission to rest.
Exactly right, Lisa. Because a life well lived isn't just about what you achieve, but about how you feel along the way. And feeling good, feeling rested, is foundational to everything else. Next episode, Sustaining Your Momentum, the long game of recovery. Welcome back to the Art of Rest. Today, we're focusing on sustaining your momentum.
The long game, I like that, Alex. It sounds less like a quick fix and more like building a lasting habit. Because, let's be honest, those first few weeks of feeling great with our new rest strategies are fantastic, but what happens when life throws a curveball? How do we keep that momentum going?
Exactly, Lisa. Life will throw curveballs. We spent the last 12 episodes exploring the incredible power of rest, from understanding sleep to the benefits of nature, social connection, creativity, and mindfulness. We've even talked about cultivating a rest champion mindset and designing effective personal rest strategies. Now, the big question is, how we make sure all this hard-won progress doesn't just fade away.
So, it's about moving from the initial enthusiasm to building real resilience, right? Making sure these aren't just temporary changes.
Precisely. The first key to sustaining momentum is acknowledging that setbacks are not failures. Think of it like learning to ride a bike. You wobble, you might even fall, but you get back up. The same applies to our rest practices. If you miss a meditation session or get a few nights of poor sleep, it doesn't mean your whole recovery journey is derailed. It just means you had one imperfect day.
That's a really helpful perspective. It takes the pressure off being perfect and encourages us to be kinder to ourselves when things don't go as planned. So, what's the next step after accepting that setbacks are part of the process?
It's about having proactive strategies for when those challenges arise. We need to anticipate the difficult times. This might involve revisiting your personal rest strategy and identifying potential triggers for slipping back into old habits. Are there specific times of year, particular work projects, or social pressures that tend to derail you?
That makes sense. Being aware of those predictable trouble spots allows us to prepare for them. So, instead of just reacting when things get tough, we can have a plan in place.
Exactly. For example, if you know a busy season is coming at work, you can proactively schedule more shorter rest breaks throughout your day or commit to a relaxing activity each evening. It's like building a protective buffer. Another powerful tool for sustaining momentum is leveraging accountability.
Accountability. So, not just telling yourself to do it, but having someone or something to help you stay on track.
Yes, this could be a friend who's also on a similar journey, a coach, or even a dedicated journaling practice. Sharing your goals and progress with others creates a sense of commitment. When you know someone else is aware of your intentions, you're more likely to follow through. Remember in episode 5, when we discussed the power of social connection? This is a perfect application of that principle.
Right. Connecting with others for shared goals. So, we're building an awareness of potential challenges, creating proactive plans, and using accountability. What else helps us keep this going long term?
It's about continuous learning and adaptation. Our needs change. What worked perfectly 6 months ago might need tweaking now. Regularly reflect on your rest practices. Are they still serving you? Are there new aspects of your life that require different kinds of rest? This could be a monthly check-in with yourself, or perhaps a more thorough review every quarter.
So, it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing. It's an ongoing process of self discovery and adjustment.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of celebrating your wins, no matter how small. When you successfully navigate a challenging week while prioritizing your rest, acknowledge it. Recognize the effort you put in. This positive reinforcement strengthens the neural pathways associated with rest and recovery, making it more likely you'll repeat those behaviors.
That's a great reminder. We often focus so much on the goal that we forget to appreciate the journey. So, to recap for our listeners, sustaining your momentum is about treating setbacks as learning opportunities, proactively planning for challenges, using accountability partners, continuously adapting your strategies, and celebrating your successes. It's about building a resilient and sustainable approach to rest.
You sum it up perfectly, Lisa. This isn't about a sprint, it's about a marathon of well-being. By embedding these principles into our lives, the art of rest truly becomes a lifelong habit, not just a phase. We're not just resting, we're becoming sustainable champions of our own recovery and thriving.
And that champion's journey, as we'll explore in our final episode, is about embracing a life of sustainable thriving.
Indeed. Join us next time as we wrap up our series. Welcome to the very last episode of The Art of Rest.
It's hard to believe we're at the end. We've covered so much ground, Alex. From understanding burnout and the essentials of sleep to the profound impact of nature, social connections, and creativity on our recovery. We've also delved into sensory awareness, mental clarity, and spiritual renewal.
Exactly, Lisa. And through it all, The core message has been that rest isn't a luxury. It's a fundamental pillar of high performance. Remember, we're not just talking about lying on the couch, though passive rest has its place. We've championed active rest too, engaging in activities that genuinely recharge us.
Right.
Because sometimes doing something completely different, something that uses a different part of our brain or body, is exactly what we need to recover. Like the creativity we discussed, using art or music not just as a hobby, but as a way to process emotions and de-stress.
Precisely. And that ties directly into cultivating mental clarity. We learned about quieting the internal noise and finding focus, which is so crucial in our always-on world. This isn't about ignoring challenges, but about approaching them with a clear, rested mind.
And we can't forget the importance of our environment and our connections. How reconnecting with nature, even for short periods, can have a powerful resetting effect. And how strong social bonds, those genuine, supportive relationships, are like a deep well of replenishment for our souls.
Absolutely. Think about it like this. Our bodies and minds are like incredibly complex engines. Sleep is the essential maintenance, the oil change. Nature and social connection are like high-quality fuel. Creativity and sensory awareness are like tuning the engine for optimal performance. And mental clarity and spiritual renewal, they're about ensuring the overall system is aligned and running with purpose.
That's a fantastic way to put it. And over the last few episodes, in charting our personal rest strategy and overcoming the obstacles of grind culture, we've started to build the framework for making this a sustainable part of our lives. It's about moving beyond just managing burnout to proactively cultivating well-being.
That's the essence of the rest champion mindset we've been building towards. It's not about perfection, but about progress. It's about recognizing that a champion isn't someone who just pushes harder. A true champion is someone who understands the power of recovery, who replenishes their energy and resilience, and then performs at their peak because of that informed rest.
So, as we close out the series, what are the key takeaways for embracing this life of sustainable thriving, Alex?
It means making intentional choices, Lisa. It means understanding your personal recovery toolkit, the specific strategies that work best for you. It means prioritizing sleep, not as an afterthought, but as a non-negotiable foundation.
And it means actively seeking out moments of genuine rest, whether that's a quiet walk in the park, a meaningful conversation with a friend, or dedicating time to a creative pursuit. It's about integrating these restorative practices into the fabric of our daily lives, not just tacking them on when we're already depleted.
Exactly. And it involves a shift in perspective. Instead of the hustle harder mantra, we embrace the recover smarter philosophy. We see rest not as a sign of weakness, but as a strategic advantage. We understand that true productivity comes from sustained energy and focus, not from burning ourselves out.
It's moving from a short-term sprint mentality to a long-term marathon of thriving. It's about building resilience, not just powering through.
And throughout this series, we've seen how interconnected all these elements are. Your sleep quality affects your mental clarity. Your social connections can reignite your creativity. Your time in nature can enhance your sensory awareness. It's a holistic approach. Embracing the rest champion journey means honoring all these aspects of yourself.
So, for our listeners, the call to action is to continue this journey. This isn't the end of the conversation, but the beginning of integrating these principles into your lives. What are some final words of encouragement?
Your journey as a rest champion is ongoing. Be patient with yourself. Experiment with different rest strategies. Don't be discouraged by setbacks. Simply regain your balance and continue moving forward. You have the power to design a life of sustainable performance, fulfillment, and true championship in every aspect of your work and personal life.
It's about finding that rhythm between effort and recovery, between doing and being. It's about living a life where you don't just survive, but truly thrive.
That's right. You've learned the tools, you understand the principles, and now it's time to live them. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through the art of rest. We've loved exploring this topic with you.
Yes, Thank you all so much for listening. We sincerely hope this series has equipped you with the knowledge and inspiration to become a rest champion.
Thanks for listening to the series.